According to the media publications and private complaints submitted to the defender via hotline by villagers of Vazashen and Barekamavan, the Azerbaijani troops conducted shootings towards these villages, as a result of which the civilians live in constant fear for their lives and health, and the situation's further intensification. Upon receipt of the alerts on shootings, the defender dispatched an independent fact-finding mission to Vazashen and Barekamavan villages from September 13 to 15. The defender's representatives had a special task to conduct fact-finding activities in order to carry out on-site examinations of the circumstances under which human rights are allegedly being violated, to comprehensively and carefully analyze all available information considered relevant and credible, as well as to document the findings. The fact-finding mission was carried out in accordance with international human rights law standards. The fact-finding mission included thorough interviews with peaceful civilians aware of the situation in order to achieve a balanced, credible, and comprehensive picture, extensive inspection of the locality where the events took place, verification of publicly available information, and other necessary examination concerning the attacks, including relevant media reviews. Visits and the photographing of civilians' houses, school, and other buildings that have been damaged as a result of the attacks. The delegation interviewed and collected credible information from the heads of the villages, civilians, the principal of the school, and teachers, as well as children and their parents. Fact-finding activities in Vazashen. During the mission, the members of the delegation received credible allegations from the head of the village and civilians on a series of massive human rights violations initiated and committed by the Azerbaijani armed forces. It was revealed that the frequency of shootings is mainly linked with the seasonality and intensity of civilians' activities in the streets. According to the interviews with villagers, the Azerbaijani armed forces started to shell the civilian settlements of Vazashen on September 7 and 8, approximately from 11 o'clock and 12 o'clock. It is particularly alarming that the school of Vazashen and children studying there were not exempted from being a target of these shootings. The delegation interviewed in person the people who had first-hand information on the shootings in the direction of the school, namely the principal, the teachers, pupils, and their parents. In this respect, members of the delegation possess wide experience of interviewing and working with children, and therefore put the best interest of children to a primary consideration. While the people interviewed reported that shootings started during classes, they also added that the teachers were obliged to take children to a safer place where they stayed for more than an hour. The on-site examination revealed that the Azerbaijani armed forces particularly targeted the school's canteen and library. Notably, the window of the canteen was shattered and new traces of shootings were observed on its wall. With regard to the library, a bullet penetrated into the room, creating risks for the lives of children and teachers. When observing the school building, the delegation examined and photographed numerous traces of shooting on its eastern and northern walls. As a protective measure, squares of the windows were closed or minimized by stones in order to protect children and teachers. In addition, the principal informed the delegation that they also had to minimize the windows' squares of the elementary school with stones because of a real danger that bullets might penetrate into the building and harm children and teachers. In reply to the questions of the delegation, school children, their parents and teachers expressed their deep concern that shootings by the Azerbaijani armed forces are continuous and they encounter significant obstacles to attend the school, thereby violating the villagers' right to education. Most of the parents avoid sending their children to school for constant fear that their lives might be at high risk. The shootings in the direction of Vazashen, and specifically the school, were not unique. Similar challenges were revealed by the Human Rights Defender's Office while conducting fact-finding missions in Chinari, Voskepar, Baganis, Voskevan, and Goti villages of Tavush province earlier this year. The villagers raised concern on the regular shootings in the direction of their villages and added that quite frequently the main target of the Azerbaijani armed forces are schools and kindergartens. For instance, in Voskevan and Koti, even a wall resembling a huge stone gate in front of the entrance of the village school is being built because of continuous shootings in that direction. Upon the statements of the local residents, the delegation also observed the village municipality's administrative building to assess the caused damages. Particularly, the back wall of the building had visible traces of shootings. The delegation, accompanied by the head of the village, thoroughly examined and photographed the area and the shooting traces. Here are some pictures of the back wall of the municipality's administrative building. Apart from the described damages, the shootings lodged on September 7 and 8 also targeted houses of peaceful local residents. During a private interview, a villager evidenced that the traces of shooting on the walls of their house were caused during the shootings of September 7. At that very moment, their 2-year-old daughter, sleeping in the house, was awakened from the sounds of the shootings. The delegation also observed the house of another civilian who showed the damaged walls and roof of his house. The whole family, including his wife, son, daughter-in-law, and grandson, were at home at the time of the shelling. During interviews, the civilian population claimed that the lands of Vazashen used for agricultural purposes and villagers working there were another target of regular shootings by the Azerbaijani armed forces. Because of shootings launched on September 7 and 8, wheat fields of Vazashen had been burned. Moreover, many villagers noted that the shootings prevent them from being involved in agricultural activities. According to the statements of civilians, they are only able to conduct any agricultural activity at the same time similar activities are being initiated on the other side of the border in Azerbaijan, in order to eliminate possible risks of shootings in their direction. The delegation also collected sufficient and credible information on the vineyards of Aygehovit village, the neighboring village of Vazashen. According to the statements of the head of the village and the local residents, these vineyards have been burned because of the shootings conducted during September 7 and 8. In addition, the delegation inquired whether there was any risk of an attack from the Armenian side, which could lead the Azerbaijani armed forces to initiate such military actions. As a result, the delegation found out that no military units or military objects are located in Vazashen or in the vicinity of its civilian settlements. This fact demonstrates the peaceful intentions of the Armenian side and eliminates any possibility or risk of an attack initiated by the Armenian armed forces, contrary to the intention of Azerbaijan, which is to cause harm precisely to civilians. Fact-finding activities in Barekamavan. All local residents that the delegation interviewed reported that the Azerbaijani armed forces periodically target the peaceful population, especially children, women, and the elderly, as well as civilian objects, which resulted in serious human rights violations thereof. During the interviews, many civilians referred to the last shooting initiated in July. The head of the village stated that the Azerbaijani armed forces directed random shootings towards the villages for more than 2 hours. Based on the credible allegations received from the local residents, some villagers are frequently forced to leave their houses and move to safer places either in Barekamavan or in neighboring villages of Tavush province. As a result, they face a considerable additional burden, being deprived of money-earning activities, house, and infrastructure. Challenges become even more difficult when people move with their families, including children, women, and elderly people. Moreover, villagers stress they have no guarantee that the fleeing reduces the risk to be attacked, considering the fact that continuous shootings might target the new places as well. Yet this is not a consistent approach to ensuring safe and dignified life for those forced to leave their houses. The facts brought to the delegation's attention reveal that the Azerbaijani troops repeatedly attack civilian settlements of Armenian villages Vazashen and Barekamavan. As a result, the shootings caused significant damages to civilians' houses and other properties, schools, and administrative buildings, leading to numerous grave violations of human rights as documented in this report. The combination of acts carried out by the Azerbaijani armed forces and the caused damages reveal the intention to target and harm civilians, especially children. The chosen time, manner, and target of the shelling are grave violations of human rights and go against the obligations imposed by the standards, principles, and protection mechanisms under international human rights law and international humanitarian law. The nature of the targets and the intention of the Azerbaijani armed forces is particularly concerning since the mission found out that no military units or military objects are located in Vazashen and Barekamavan villages or in the vicinity of these civilian settlements. This fact once again demonstrates the peaceful intentions of the Armenian side and eliminates any possibility or risk of an attack initiated by Armenian armed forces compared to the intention of Azerbaijan, which is to cause extensive damages precisely to civilians. The Human Rights Defender's Office raises a concern that the shootings, the nature of targets, and the caused human rights violations in Vazashen and Barekamavan are similar to those in Chinari, Voskepar, Paganis, Voskevan, and Koti villages. These new attacks are the foreseeable continuation of the shootings by the Azerbaijani armed forces previously examined and analyzed by the defender. The peaceful population of Armenian borderline villages has no guarantee for the non-repetition and unpredictable consequences of such violent attacks, which creates a spirit of fear and uncertainty. Therefore, in the perspective of prevention, these violations should get appropriate attention as well as be publicly and duly condemned by the international community as a matter of concern.